Have you ever felt so overwhelmed that you just had to set boundaries, no matter the consequences? If you're a Sigma female, this will sound very familiar. Today, we're exploring the 11 bold actions Sigma females take when they've reached their breaking point. Stay with us, and you might recognize some of these behaviors in yourself. First, let's talk about what makes a Sigma female stand out. A Sigma female is incredibly independent, very aware of her own feelings, and puts her tranquility first. She lives life on her own terms, without trying to meet the usual social standards. However, it's not always simple being this way in a society that often doesn't get her subtle strength and self-reliance. She might be seen as too detached, cold, or overly confident, and when she is repeatedly underestimated or pushed too far, that's when her relentless side comes out. Let's delve into that. Number 1, she abruptly stops talking to people. Let's discuss something quite bold that Sigma females often do when they're fed up. They suddenly stop communicating with certain people. You might wonder if that's too drastic. To some, it could appear unkind or even cold-hearted, but for Sigma females, it's not about being mean. It's about putting themselves first. Here's what you need to understand. Sigma females think deeply and value their own peace more than anything. They dislike pointless drama or ongoing disputes. If someone consistently ignores their limits, drains their energy, or fills their life with negativity, they won't bother to explain. They simply decide, quietly yet resolutely, to move on. And here's why. They see no reason to give a warning. Sigma females avoid prolonged fights or excuses. They probably have given the person several chances to change. They've been patient. However, when it's clear that someone won't respect them, they focus on their own health and happiness. Leaving without an explanation might look merciless, but consider this. Why should you explain yourself to someone who doesn't respect your boundaries to begin with? Imagine this scenario. You have a friend who only reaches out when they need something from you. When you need help, they are nowhere to be found. Despite explaining how this hurts you, they ignore your feelings or make light of them. Over time, you realize that this friendship is one-sided and is draining your energy. What should you do? If you are a Sigma female, you won't keep discussing the issue over and over. Instead, you simply stop responding to their calls, stop being there, and move on. This approach isn't about causing drama. It's about making a firm decision. And truly, it's a strong move. By cutting off contact, Sigma females send a clear message without saying a word. I will not tolerate being treated poorly. Others might be surprised by this strong stance because they are not used to seeing someone walk away with such confidence. But this is what makes Sigma females stand out. This doesn't mean they are cold-hearted. Actually, Sigma females care a lot about the relationships that truly matter. However, when someone repeatedly disrespects their values or exploits their kindness, they know it's time to end it. If you've been in this situation, you know how freeing it feels to take back your energy. Share your experiences in the comments below. What led you to leave a harmful relationship or friendship? How did it feel to put yourself first? Remember, cutting someone off isn't about being mean or harsh. It's about setting a boundary and saying, that's the final straw. For Sigma females, making this choice is an act of self-care. Stay tuned, because the journey doesn't stop here. Let's dive into the bold steps a Sigma female takes when she decides she's reached her limit. Number 2, she concentrates intensely on her aims. Let's explore something truly motivating about a Sigma female when she's reached her limit. She becomes incredibly focused on her objectives. When life becomes too much, or when others overstep her kindness, a Sigma female doesn't get bogged down. She turns things around. She directs all her emotions, whether frustration, disappointment or anger, toward achieving her goals. It's as if a switch gets flipped in her mind. She stops paying attention to distractions, and her dreams become her main focus. For her, this isn't just about getting away from the negativity. It's about taking back her strength. Shifting her attention to her goals is her way of declaring, "I'm the boss of my own life." And let's face it, some might see this move as harsh. Why? Because once a Sigma female is determined, nothing and no one can block her path. Suddenly, she's not around for every chat, every favor, or every pointless meeting. Her time turns precious. And to those who once took advantage of her being sidetracked, it might seem like she's cutting them off. However, the reality is, she's not being mean. She's being tactical. A Sigma female understands that every moment spent on negative thoughts is a moment she could use to pursue her dreams. This dedication changes her. You'll find her working late into the night on projects she loves, preparing for a job promotion, or planning to start her own business. She makes her goals clear and doesn't allow anything to stop her. The most amazing part is this. Once she fully commits to her goals, she starts achieving them quicker than before. Whether it's reaching a health goal, doing well at work, or finishing a project she's always wanted to do, the outcomes are impressive. Do you relate to this? Have you ever decided to focus solely on yourself? If so, share your experience in the comments. What dream did you pursue, and how did it feel to finally put yourself first? This intense focus is more than just about achieving success. It's about valuing oneself. A Sigma female will not let her dreams be overshadowed by drama or distractions. By prioritizing herself, she's creating a future that truly reflects her deepest intentions. The next time someone calls self-focus selfish, remind yourself of this. Prioritizing your growth isn't selfish. It's a testament to your strength and ambition. Number 3. She rejects requests without regret. Let's talk about something really empowering that Sigma females do when they've reached their limit. They say no without feeling bad about it. This might seem straightforward, but think about how hard it can be for many of us to just say no. Often, society expects women to always be nice, helpful, and willing to accommodate others. However, Sigma females refuse to let these norms run their lives. When they are overloaded, stressed out, or taken advantage of, they stop going out of their way to please everyone else. They realize that their time and effort are valuable, and they choose not to spend them on things that don't benefit them. Consider this. How often have you agreed to do something you really didn't want to, just to avoid a confrontation or feeling guilty? Perhaps you helped a friend move on your only day off, or you worked late because saying no to your boss felt too difficult. How did you feel after that? You likely felt exhausted, right? Sigma females know that feeling very well. But what makes them different is they don't let guilt influence their choices. They've figured out that saying no isn't being selfish. It's actually essential. For a Sigma female, saying no is about respecting herself. It's her way of looking after her own limits and focusing on what really matters to her. The best part is that she doesn't feel she has to explain her choices. She doesn't need to give reasons for not joining an event or for not taking on extra tasks. A simple, polite no is all that's needed. This can be surprising to people who expect her to always say yes. Some might even think she's being rude or selfish. However, Sigma females don't worry about these judgments. They understand that those who truly value them will respect their boundaries. Imagine this scenario. A Sigma female is already busy with work and her own projects. If a colleague asks her to handle something they should do themselves, she doesn't agree just because she feels she has to. Instead, she calmly says, "I'm sorry, I can't help with that right now." No excuses, no feeling guilty. And you know what? She feels strong, not overwhelmed. Mastering the skill of saying no is incredibly powerful. For Sigma females, this comes naturally. It helps them keep their lives balanced and stay true to who they are. What about you? Have you ever had to say no when everyone expected you to say yes? How did it make you feel? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm eager to learn how you've used this powerful word to regain control. Remember, saying no doesn't mean you're pushing others away. It means you're making room for what really matters to you. If you've gotten good at this, you're well on your way to living life your way. Have you ever had to think twice about a relationship because of this? Tell us your experiences in the comments below. Number 4. She no longer justifies her actions. Let's discuss a significant change Sigma females make when they've had enough. They stop justifying themselves. Consider this. How often do we feel compelled to explain our choices, actions, or even feelings? It's almost instinctive. We're taught to think we must provide reasons for everything. Why we refused something, why we chose a certain path, or why we're putting ourselves first. However, Sigma females stop doing this when they reach their breaking point. Once a Sigma female is fed up, she realizes she doesn't have to prove her value, her decisions, or her limits to anyone. She recognizes that always having to defend herself is not just tiring, but also unnecessary. Why? Because those who truly value her don't need explanations, and those who do aren't likely to value them. Picture this situation. A Sigma female is in a harmful friendship where she is constantly expected to bend over backwards for the other person. She eventually decides to step back, choosing tranquility over turmoil. When her friend asks for an elaborate explanation for her withdrawal, she simply states, "I need to look after myself right now," and leaves it at that. There's no feeling guilty, no second guessing. This is a big deal because it isn't about ignoring others or not caring. It's about understanding her own importance. Sigma females realize their value and have learned that justifying their actions doesn't really alter others' opinions of them. If someone gets the wrong idea about her motives or disagrees with her choices, she knows it's not her job to correct them. This way of thinking also helps her save her energy. Let's be honest, having to constantly explain yourself is exhausting both mentally and emotionally. It usually ends up in endless discussions that go nowhere, leaving everyone unhappy and no progress made. By choosing not to explain everything, a Sigma female preserves her inner peace and moves ahead with confidence. Indeed, this behavior might surprise or puzzle people. When people are used to hearing explanations for your actions, they might expect you to provide one. But this is where the strength lies. Sigma females are fine with others not getting them. They accept that they can't control what others think or feel about them, and that brings a lot of freedom. This change is often a pivotal moment in a Sigma female's life. Once she stops feeling the need to explain herself, she starts focusing on what's really important: her ambitions, her personal growth, and her joy. She becomes more careful about where she puts her energy, and this clear focus helps her succeed. Have you ever been in a place where you tried over and over to justify your choices to someone, but just ended up feeling ignored and annoyed. What was it like when you stopped trying to justify yourself and simply stood firm with your decision? Tell us about it in the comments. Many of us probably know that feeling of gaining strength. Here's the reality. You don't need to explain your life choices to anyone. The people who truly care will accept your decisions, even if they don't completely get them. And if you're nodding along with this, brace yourself, because what comes next is even more daring. Sigma females excel at guarding their energy with determination, and I'm excited to explain how they manage to do that. Number 5. She distances herself from harmful situations. Imagine being in a job where no one notices your efforts, your thoughts are often ignored, and you end up feeling unvalued every day. Or perhaps you're in a friendship where you're always the one putting in the effort, and the other person just takes without giving back. A Sigma female won't allow herself to remain trapped in these kinds of situations. Instead of putting up with the negativity, she courageously decides to leave. For a Sigma female, staying in a situation that constantly threatens her peace isn't an option. She knows that no environment, no matter how comfortable or familiar it seems, is worth losing her mental and emotional health over. Some people might view her decision to leave as harsh, especially in a culture that often values sticking it out no matter the circumstances. However, for a Sigma female, this choice is about valuing what's truly important: her own well-being, her ambitions, and her happiness. She understands that staying in harmful settings only prevents her from achieving the life she's meant to live. Leaving a job, a relationship, or a social group can be intimidating, even frightening. Yet, what distinguishes Sigma females is their trust in themselves. They believe that even though the future may be unknown, it's certainly better than remaining in a place that saps their strength and dims their spirit. Imagine this. A Sigma female notices her workplace is filled with unhealthy competition and betrayal. She has tried to fit in and overlook it, but nothing gets better. One day she decides she's had enough. Rather than complaining or waiting for change, she refreshes her resume, looks for new jobs, and leaves on her own terms. Now, think about her personal life. If she's in a relationship where she feels constantly undervalued or disrespected, she won't just stay and hope things improve. She openly shares her feelings, and if there's no change, she leaves with her head held high, knowing she deserves more. Others might question her decision, asking, "Why didn't you try harder?" or "Isn't leaving too drastic?" However, a Sigma female doesn't let these comments sway her. She understands that her own happiness is what matters, not others' approval. Have you ever had to leave a harmful situation? It's tough, but it can also be incredibly liberating. Feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your story might encourage someone else to make that bold move. In the end, staying in a toxic place doesn't show strength. It just wears you down. By choosing to leave, you take back your control and open up room for better things. If you've ever taken the step to walk away from a toxic environment, take a moment to appreciate your bravery. That decision took true courage. And if you're still in that situation, trust that you have the inner strength to leave when the time feels right. We'd love to hear from you. What's the boldest, most assertive action you've ever taken? Number 6. She transforms her life. When a Sigma female reaches her breaking point, she sees it as a moment to grow, not just a setback. She doesn't get overwhelmed or feel trapped. Instead, she uses these tough times as a chance to change and grow. For her, this moment is just the beginning of a new chapter, not the end. Reinventing herself can look different for each Sigma female. For some, it might mean making bold outward changes like getting a new hairstyle, switching up their clothes, or even moving to a new city. These changes are like turning over a new leaf or starting a new chapter in their lives. For others, the transformation is internal. They might adopt new habits, change their way of thinking, or focus on personal development. Picture this. A Sigma female finds herself in a situation where she's not happy. It could be a job that doesn't let her use her creativity, or a relationship that's limiting her. Instead of staying stuck, she decides to take control of her life. She begins by figuring out what she truly wants. Then, she starts to make changes that match her real goals. This process of reinvention isn't about proving something to others. It's not to show the world she's improved. It's very personal. A Sigma female chooses to reinvent herself because she believes she deserves to be the best version of herself. Let's look at her career as an example. If she has been in a job that doesn't excite her or fulfill her ambitions, she might choose to pick up a new skill, start a small business on the side, or completely change her career path. It's challenging, but Sigma females flourish when they're growing. They're not scared to take risks if it means building a life they can be proud of. Now think about her personal life. After a difficult breakup or a time when she felt stuck, she might choose to travel, try out new hobbies, or take care of her physical and mental well-being. This isn't about escaping her problems. It's about finding herself again and figuring out what truly brings her joy. What's really motivating is the determination she shows in this journey. Reinventing oneself isn't always quick or easy. It takes hard work, bravery, and sometimes confronting your fears. However, Sigma females don't back down from challenges. They step up to meet them. Have you ever transformed yourself after a hard period? Perhaps you began a new phase in your career, took up a new hobby, or adopted a healthier way of living. Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to learn how you changed your life and started anew. When a Sigma female transforms herself, she shows everyone and herself that nothing can break her. Each obstacle is just the start of something bigger and better. What's amazing? She does it her way. Feeling stuck? Let this inspire you. Reinventing yourself isn't about being perfect. It's about getting better step by step. It's about small but significant moves toward the life you dream of. So, what will you do next? Whether you're kicking off a new project, making a bold change, or just finding your spark again, remember, you have the strength to flourish, not just get by. Stay tuned. I've got 3 powerful tips yet to share. The next tip is crucial. Guard your energy. Every Sigma female should learn this. Number 7. She guards her energy with strong determination. Let's discuss an important change that occurs when a Sigma female is fed up. She starts fiercely guarding her energy. To Sigma females, peace is not just something nice to have, it's essential. They know that their mental and emotional well-being is the base for everything else they do. That's why, when they can't take any more, they choose to protect their energy as if it were a precious gem. What does this actually look like? It begins with setting boundaries. A Sigma female realizes that to safeguard her energy, she needs to establish strict limits, whether it's with friends, family, co-workers, or even herself. She stops agreeing to things that tire her out and focuses on what really matters. Picture this. A Sigma female is always dealing with negativity, from gossiping co-workers to demanding friends, or an endless list of tasks. One day, she decides enough is enough. She starts turning down invites to events that feel more like duties than fun. She turns off unnecessary alerts on her phone, and she stops spending her energy on people who don't respect her limits. From the outside, this change might look extreme. Some might think she's withdrawing or becoming distant. But for the Sigma female, it's not about cutting people out. It's about taking care of herself. She understands that if she keeps giving her energy away to everyone and everything, she won't have any left for herself. Sigma females often use alone time as a powerful way to look after their energy. They find strength in solitude, which helps them recharge, think deeply, and reconnect with themselves. This might involve enjoying a quiet evening writing in a journal, taking a calm walk outdoors, or even going on a trip alone to reset. Mindfulness is another crucial way they protect their energy. Sigma females may practice meditation, deep breathing, or yoga to find their center and release stress. These peaceful activities keep them balanced, even in the midst of chaos. Have you ever felt the need to take a step back to regain your energy? Perhaps you've started turning down things that wear you out, or took time to refresh in your own way. If so, share what you did in the comments. Your experience might encourage others to do the same. When a Sigma female safeguards her energy, she is really saying, "My well-being is important." It's not selfish, it's smart. By making her mental and emotional health a priority, she makes room to grow, succeed, and be her best. So remember, it's okay to take a step back, establish limits, and say no. Protecting your energy is not just a lesson, it's a superpower. Believe me, the next step a Sigma female takes is equally empowering. Keep watching to witness how she boldly asserts herself with unshakable self-assurance. Number 8. She prioritizes her own needs consistently. Let's discuss how a Sigma female takes a stand for herself when she's reached her breaking point. She consistently chooses her own well-being. For Sigma females, hitting this threshold isn't merely a fleeting annoyance. It serves as an eye-opener. It reminds them that they've been too generous with others while neglecting their own needs. Realizing this, they make a decisive and life-changing decision. They prioritize themselves. Putting yourself first isn't about being selfish or indifferent. It means understanding that you can't help others if you're running on empty. If you keep dedicating your energy to those who don't value it, or if you remain in situations that limit your potential, you're just limiting yourself. Sigma females grasp this concept fully, which empowers them to release anything or anyone that hinders their happiness or personal growth. Picture this. A Sigma female has been in a relationship where she constantly puts the other person's happiness before her own. She has tried to talk things through and make it work, but nothing improves. Eventually, she recognizes that staying is sapping her energy, prompting her brave choice to leave. She does this not out of indifference, but from a strong sense of self-respect and the courage to pursue a better situation for herself. Think about her career choices. If she's stuck in a job that doesn't bring her joy or energy, she doesn't just stay because she's afraid. Instead, she goes after what truly excites her, even if it means she has to start all over. She believes that chasing her happiness, no matter the risk, is always a good move. Choosing herself also means she embraces loving herself fully. A Sigma female takes pride in who she is, imperfections and all. She sets goals that truly match what she wants and won't let others make her feel guilty for not living life their way. This change helps her become the best version of herself. Have you ever realized that you needed to put yourself first? Perhaps you left a harmful relationship, took a new path in your career, or just started to say no more often. Tell us your experience in the comments. It's a strong reminder that putting yourself first is always the right choice. At the end of the day, putting yourself first is not just an option, it's essential. It's the way to build a life that's genuinely aligned with who you are. And if there's one thing Sigma females are great at, it's living their lives truly, boldly, and by their own rules. Number 9. She defends herself more assertively than ever. Let's explore a crucial moment for a Sigma female, when she decides she's had enough and bravely defends herself. Although a Sigma female usually remains quiet and steers clear of needless conflicts, her silence should not be seen as a sign of weakness. If she feels unfairly treated or disrespected, she confidently steps up and makes her voice heard. Her assertive stance is both confident and impossible to overlook. When she stands up for herself, it isn't about picking fights or being hostile. It's about making things clear with grace and precision. A Sigma female understands that keeping quiet when faced with disrespect only allows it to persist. Therefore, when she can no longer tolerate it, she speaks up. Her goal isn't to argue, but to regain her strength and position. Why this action is so impactful? This response isn't merely a reaction to unfair treatment. It marks a significant moment of self-regard. By holding her ground, a Sigma female demonstrates to everyone and to herself that she expects and demands nothing less than what she rightfully deserves. She doesn't settle for less than she deserves. For example, picture her at work where her ideas are often ignored and her efforts are not acknowledged. Instead of silently enduring this, she decides to take action. She arranges a meeting with her boss, explains her situation clearly, and asks for the recognition she has worked for. By doing this, she not only changes how others view her, but also boosts her own confidence. In personal relationships, it's the same story. A Sigma female recognizes when it's time to address issues in her personal life too. If a friend is abusing her generosity or a partner is not treating her with respect, she doesn't just overlook it. Take this scenario. She's in a friendship where she's always the one making efforts and receiving little in return. Fed up, she doesn't just walk away quietly. Instead, she faces the problem, telling her friend, "I value our friendship, but it feels lopsided. I need our efforts to be more balanced." By standing up for herself, she establishes how she expects to be treated in the future. This isn't about causing trouble. It's about setting clear limits and making sure others respect them. The change in energy is really uplifting. When a Sigma female asserts herself, it goes beyond just solving a problem at hand. It's about her taking back her strength and reminding herself of her value. This boost in confidence spreads through all aspects of her life, enhancing her strength and certainty. For many, facing confrontation can be tough or even frightening. However, Sigma females handle it differently. They view standing up for themselves as an essential part of living genuinely. It's not about winning or being correct. It's about ensuring their actions reflect their beliefs and not settling for less in important matters. Encouraging others by example. What's truly impressive about this quality is its ability to motivate others. When a Sigma female holds her position, she demonstrates what self-respect looks like in practice. She sets an example for anyone who has ever been too scared to speak out. Consider this. Have you ever seen someone calmly yet confidently assert themselves? It's quite impactful, right? It shows you that you can do the same. If you've experienced a similar moment, share it in the comments below. Your experience might encourage someone else to take that brave first step. What follows next? After asserting herself, a Sigma female doesn't linger on the conflict. She gracefully moves on, secure in the knowledge that she acted in her best interest. Regardless of the outcome, she's satisfied because she respected her own limits and remained true to herself. This change often leads to improved relationships, more effective communication, and a greater feeling of empowerment. Although it's not always simple, Sigma females realize that asserting themselves is essential for maintaining their inner peace and creating the life they envision. If this message strikes a chord with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever stood up for yourself in a way that transformed your life? Your story could motivate someone else to discover their own strength. Number 10. She embraces change as a new beginning. When a Sigma female has truly had enough, she sees it as an opportunity to start anew, not just an end. She embraces change as a chance to grow and evolve into a stronger version of herself. Think of it as her way of turning a tough situation into a stepping stone for something better. For instance, if she's been feeling stuck in a routine that no longer serves her, she might decide to change up her daily habits, pick up a new hobby, or even make a career shift. This isn't about running away from challenges. It's about moving towards new opportunities with open arms and a brave heart. She knows that real growth often begins where comfort ends, and she's ready to step into the unknown with confidence. Number 11. She invests in her own happiness. A Sigma female knows that her happiness is a priority, not an option. When she's had enough of being on the sidelines of her own life, she takes active steps to ensure she's investing in what truly brings her joy and fulfillment. This might mean setting aside time each day for activities that make her smile, whether it's reading, painting, or simply taking a long walk in nature. It also involves making tough decisions to leave behind situations or people that dampen her spirits. She understands that investing in her happiness is essential for her overall well-being, and she's not afraid to make herself a priority. This self-investment isn't selfish. It's a necessary act of self-care that empowers her to be her best self. Here we go. Here are the 11 tough actions Sigma females take when they've reached their limit. Which one struck a chord with you? Drop your comments below, and let's continue this discussion. And don't forget, being a Sigma female isn't about being tough. It's about recognizing your value and defending your rights. You are more powerful than you think, and your strength is essential to the world. Thanks everyone for watching. Catch you in the next video. Bye, stay blessed, and as always, until next time.